All right, thank you. All right, let's start over again. Good afternoon and welcome to everyone to this City Commission meeting for November 18, 2021, time being 6:30. We will have our invocation tonight by Pastor Hall, and we will follow that with Pledge of Allegiance. But before we get started, I just want you to know that there is no Zoom tonight. Zoom is not in operation tonight. Okay? So with that, we will have our invocation from Pastor Hall.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily provision, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Keep us from temptation, and deliver us from evil. O Lord our God, creator of heaven and earth, and all that is within, ruler of the universe, we come before you tonight in the name of your only begotten Son, the Lord and Savior and Redeemer of mankind, and we beg of you to minister in this house this night. May your holy anointing that breaks the yoke of bondage be in this room, touching each heart and each life. And as you minister to us, may we do that which is right, proving to be the righteousness of God for our community. May your glory and your grace abound, and we forever give you thanks. In Jesus' lovely name, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Mayor Jones. Here. Commissioner Ambrose.
Here.
Commissioner Jameson.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we will look at our agenda.
Madam Mayor, did you get the message that the first two items are withdrawn? The applicant determined that they wanted to withdraw the first two items.
The second one, okay, yes. I was going to do that, huh? Okay.
Both under
That's okay, we got
unfinished
it.
business 1 and 2 is withdrawn.
Yeah. It was withdrawn by the developer, not by the city.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everybody?
And eight is being,
That's under new business.
yeah.
Yeah, that comes next.
Eight's removed too. I move we approve the agenda as presented with changes removing items 1 and 2 under unfinished business and 8 under new business.
I'll second it.
All right. It has been properly moved and second that the agenda be approved with the two mentioned items. Number 1 and 2 under unfinished business and number 8 under new business. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. All right, approval of minutes for October 21st special meeting and October 28th regular meeting.
I don't have the October 21st special meeting minutes. Were they, No, but, okay, I just didn't realize until I looked just now that the October 21st was there. Shall we just move that to next week, or? Okay. I move that we approve October 28, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
All right, it has been properly moved that the minutes from October 28, 2021 Commission regular meeting be approved. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Thank you. Hello, my friend. All right, everyone, this is my pleasure. Angela Stone has completed all requirements, all CE studies for her Master Municipal Clerk Certificate. And I know there are some days when she was going through this that she asked herself, why? And I know because I've been there. But you don't give up, you just keep going. And look what you got because you finished it. Thank you. And we know you're gonna put it to good use and you're gonna do great. And congratulations from all of us.
Thank you.
And with your plaque, here is also a beautiful pin for you.
Thank you.
And you hold on to that.
Okay.
Mayor James, I just also want to point out that over 400 cities and city clerks in the state of Florida, Angela has achieved this goal as one of 147 city clerks that have it.
Very good.
excellent.
It's excellent.
Very proud of it.
That's a second congratulations. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right, 1 and 2 is gone. Okay. All right, that's the end of it. Yep. Yep, we will move right along to our reorganization. And at this point, I will adjourn the meeting for the commission for 2020 and 21. Meeting adjourned. Ooh, I get all the good y'all today. Hey. I have to come back down there? No.
What are you doing?
He doesn't want to go down there.
No.
What are you doing?
I want you to move your chair. And I want you to stand back here with me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? Is that good?
I know how to listen to a lady.
Yes,
She-
he's
there
had
she
good
is.
training.
All right. From the city of High Springs, presented to Scott H. Jameson, with our most sincere appreciation for 9 years of service as mayor and commissioner of the city of High Springs, 2012 to 2021. I say thank you for being here, for helping me along, whether you know it or not. I like working with you. I've learned things from working with you, and you have done a great job while you were here, and I know in your next endeavor you will be just as great. So we thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Let me just say something real quick, because if I didn't say something at a meeting, you guys would probably wonder if I'm sick or something. What the heck's the matter with them? But real quick, it won't be long, but when I started this thing, it was only supposed to be 6 months. And I was going to fill in an interim type of deal. And here it is 9.5 years later. When I was asked to do the 6 months, I would have never foreseen I was going to be here this long. I figured you guys would be smart enough to figure it out and I wouldn't be here. But I would, in all sincerity, I'd just like to take a moment to extend my most sincere appreciation to the citizens for your trust and confidence in me to make decisions in the best interest of our city and for yourselves, and I greatly appreciate that. I'd also like to thank my current and past colleagues here on the dais for tolerating my attempts at humor and sarcasm. Somewhere down the line, you guys are going to get hazard pay. I don't know where it's going to be in the budget, but somewhere you're going to get it. But finally, a very, very special thank you to the city staff and employees, and I want to make sure that includes police and fire, just not the ones here. And I hope everybody understands, and I've said this before, with the police and fire, we're a rarity. A city of our size to have both of those servicing our citizens is not common. So we should be very proud of that. Saying that, I had no idea the extent or depth of work our employees undertake on any given day. But in my position as commissioner, I was able to witness firsthand just how special each and every one of them is. I thank each of you, the policemen, the firemen, for what you do for our city and the citizens on a daily basis, but for also making a positive impact in my life. And for that, I'm forever thankful to you, because I'm a people person, and I'm better now than I was 9.5 years ago because of the relationships that I've been able to build with them. The pastor, I'd have never met, and so Terry, we've talked, and Mr. Finch, same type of deal, everybody on the deal, people in here, so I thank you very much. I say to Ms. Weitz, he's going to come up here and do it. I wish you the very best as you begin this new challenge. And I hope that it's as rewarding for you that it has been for me. I've made great friends, and I thank everybody for everything. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. I'm out of here.
No, we have some things to say. You just said a minute. Well, I have something to say. I imagine all the other commissioners do too. I was so green when I came on the board in 2016, and I have learned so much just from observing Scott. He has taught me so much, I can't tell you. And he has also led the city into great directions. He's very carefully guarded the city's money, and I'm going to miss him. He's going to be around town yet, but it's been a pleasure working with you, and all that I've learned from you, I do appreciate it.
I guess I'll say something here. Scott, I've enjoyed working with you for the last 9 years.
Wow.
Yep, it's been fun, and I enjoyed the laughter that we had, and so I learned a lot from you also. I really appreciate you for stepping up to serve the citizens of High Springs. That's a great accomplishment, and we wish you well.
Thank you, sir.
We wish you well, and only thing else, I want you to get a smartphone. Oh. Get rid of the flip phone and come on to the 21st century.
I like it in the previous century. Let me hang there for a little while.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. It really has been a pleasure. Enjoyed working with you. Thank you so much.
And I'll just chime in, Scott. I have appreciated you representing us as citizens for the years that I was out in the audience. And your behavior here on this commission has taught me a lot. And really the civility and exchange that you've represented over the years has been really important to the community. So thank you for bringing that to here and contributing all you have.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, for the time that you could spend here on the diocese as well. Because I remember when I used to sit out there and watch and listen to things that you had to say, not realizing I'd end up here one day myself. So I thank you for that, because I was lost, of course, when I first started going out there. But just listening to you and some of the things that you said, I really do appreciate it. And some of the, I mean this in a good way, you think different than I do. And it's nice to hear the things that you come up with that I didn't even think about. I like that. So
all natural, too.
so I appreciate it.
Let me just say one last thing and get ahead, because you guys got business to do. I left out one person, and I meant to do on the deal. Probably I owe more thanks than anything, and that's my wife, who's in the back. You guys can only imagine.
Yes, she is.
We've been married 42 years, and the last 9.5 I've been sitting up here, so she is a saint on the deal. But I do want to just thank her, because she's tolerated me when I've been reviewing these things and coming to meetings. So you guys got business to do. I thank you all very much. It's been my pleasure, and I wish you all the best going forward. Mr. Walker, thank you, sir.
Scott, when the waters get a little choppy, and we've been there before, it's always nice to have a leader that has a steady hand at the helm. So thank you.
It's very nice. Thank you. Oh, jeez. Or that.
Good luck, Scott.
I, Catherine White, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, honor, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
under the Constitution of the state and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of City Commissioner on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
of City Commissioner on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Byron Williams, do solemnly swear
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend
I will support, honor, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
the Constitution of the government of the United States and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state
I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state
and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of city commissioner
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the city commissioner
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am about to enter. So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right, again.
Okay, if you will, you can sit down.
Serving the last year as mayor. You've done an excellent job. You're always there when staff needs you. And your guidance has been instrumental this past year while we've been going through growth and so much change. And I personally am here because of you. During the interview process, I thought that's someone I would like to work with. So I appreciate you, and all of staff loves you, and I'm so glad we have a couple years more with you as commissioner.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks to everyone. I appreciate it. Everyone. Oh, I gotta take it out for you. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Come back.
I didn't want to mess it up.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. I don't know when I put it. I can do city manager. I'm not good in this other role. I would like to call to order the 2021-2022 City Commission meeting.
Okay, we'll have a roll call. Commissioner Ambrose,
Present.
Commissioner James,
Present.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Whites,
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
I would like to accept nominations for to elect the mayor. Oh. Wait, what am I?
I'd like to make a nomination.
Oh.
At this time, I would like to nominate Commissioner Williams for the mayor's spot, please.
I'll go ahead and second that.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Jones for mayor. Second. Second.
Aye.
Yes.
All right. Shuffle.
I happily give that up.
She happily gives it up, she say.
So we need to move now, or?
Yes. we
No,
need
not
to-
right now,
oh.
just wait until everybody gets appointed, and then I'll move you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So at this time, I accept nomination for election for elect the vice mayor.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Jones to maintain as vice mayor, please.
Evidently not. I said evidently not.
Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Gloria, if she'd be willing to serve.
I'll do.
No second. So I can't second.
Pass the gavel. Pass the
Pass the
gavel.
gavel, and you can, and then you can second it.
No, I'm seconding for Gloria? Okay. So you got to vote now. You got the gavel.
Oh, okay. All those in favor? I have to do it for me. Okay. All those in favor of Gloria being your vice mayor?
Aye.
Vote at this time. Say
Aye.
aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's odd. Now I can give it back?
So where do we go? I move here, okay.
I guess I just want to thank you guys for having me up here with you. Commissioner Ambrose, I've watched you prepare, and I've been impressed. Commissioner Williams, my family has a profound personal gratitude for you and Kevin and Miss Alice. Vice Mayor James, you obviously have heart for this community. It's very obvious that you love this town. And Commissioner Jones, what a profound honor it is for me to be sitting up here with you. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you.
Kevin, I got to get used to this new mic here. Okay, so this time we'll move on to citizen requests and comments for issues not on the agenda. Please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
David Lynch, L-I-N-C-H. I would like to remind the commissioners that a crew of men in the northwest section dug up the pavement to put in new water lines, and they did not replace the pavement. It's unsightly. It does not reflect well upon the city. It washes in a hard rain, and it's also an obstacle to transport. When you go over in your car, you have to slow down to avoid damaging your car. I'd like to give each person on the dais a copy of this paper right here. The topic of discussion is fetal alcohol syndrome. Read the part that I underlined. The life expectancy of people with fetal alcohol syndrome is 34 years of age on average. So when the commissioners allow High Springs Brewing to use the High Springs name, they are supporting and condoning by the power of the state something that causes people to be born with a life expectancy of only 34 years.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
I'm a little confused tonight. It's been a long time since something kind of took place like this, and I don't understand exactly how it's, I think traditionally, Ms. Commissioner Jones, were you vice mayor
Yes.
till tonight? Traditionally, I've been here 22 years, and vice mayor, in my experience, the commission kind of rotates mayors. Can you explain to me what happened tonight? Somebody, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, assistant manager? Is this something that you can do just arbitrarily out of choice, jump over another candidate or person that has been doing a fine job in the city? Wouldn't you think this assistant, the vice mayor is anybody? Tradition? Any rules? I kind of came in tonight thinking Commissioner Jones was going to get a shot at mayor. She's done an admirable job like the rest of you on the commission. The people that got nominated tonight, you all have had your seat before. Mayor, Mr. Williams, you've done a wonderful job as mayor, and Mrs. James, but you kind of been there before. Kind of like been there, done that, you know?
You're right.
Anybody? Any comments? I'll wait. I got 5 minutes.
Well, since I made the nomination for the mayor slot, I can tell you what I was thinking, if you like.
Okay.
Okay? I just think that, like you say, Mr. Williams, or Commissioner Williams, have been here before, and that was one of the reasons why I did it, because we are at a busy point here in the city at this time. We have a city manager here that's doing a very good job for us, and I thought it would be in our best interest to give her the best candidate that I could to help her along with what she's doing. And in my mind, that was Commissioner Williams, so that's why
Okay.
I voted, made that nomination.
Anybody else? Completely acceptable to everybody?
The other thing I'll say is, it's not unprecedented not to follow that tradition. A number of times over the years, it has not happened that way. And, the commission continues to do the work of the city. But the rules, that are set for how mayor and vice mayor are selected were used, and that's how it came out this time.
Okay. Well, thanks for spending a couple of minutes and explaining it to me. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyone else? I'm on moving. Okay, so we're moving on to new business. Number 3, discuss, consider an act of appointing and reappointing members to various city boards and committees.
Okay.
Ms. Pam? Okay.
Mayor, your council does have a list of the vacancies on the various boards. We actually have 2 boards, the planning board and the Parks and Recreation Board. There are 2 vacancies on the planning board, Yvonne Andrews and Mike Kearney. We were able to get in touch with Ms. Andrews, and she said she would like to be reconsidered for the position. And we've had 3 other applications. And I believe I sent one to you, I don't know if you all received it this morning, Tim Bollinger. Right. He also would like to be considered, so you actually have 4.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'm looking up.
can I make a recommendation for 2, or do we do it one at a time? Okay. I recommend John Walsh and Tim Bollinger.
I'm willing to second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other comments? Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
We have this Parks and Recreation Board. We have Sandra Davis, her position is up, and we also have 2 vacant alternate members. They were never filled. So, Ms. Davis is renewable.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I recommend that we renew Cassandra Davis.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any other questions? So, Jen, it's hard to get people to,
We've advertised it, it's been on social media, trying to get somebody, everybody is really busy. If anybody knows of anybody who'd like to serve as alternates on the Parks and Recreation Board, please let us know. Please have a contact.
so is there, I guess, age limit? So how old you have to be on a board?
It specifies, but,
What I mean,
it's an adult.
yeah, that's why I was asking the question, can young people, huh? So, they have to be an adult, 18 or 21? 18. Okay, yeah. The reason I was asking that question, is maybe we need to start targeting young people, if possible.
We could probably amend the ordinance that created the board and allow for youth to be as alternates, and they could give their input on things.
I'm a firm believer that we should get our young people involved as soon as possible, if they like to serve, you know, and because, trying to be nice here. We ain't getting no younger, so we need some young people to step up to the plate, if possible. All righty. Did we vote? We did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's done.
Voted? Jenny, did we vote?
There was a motion and a second to vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign? Okay, motion carries. Okay, item number 4. Discuss and consider action appointing, reappointing members to the various, consider acting and appointing chair for the vice chair to the chair and the vice chair to the CRA board.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to nominate Catherine White as chair for the CRA.
I'll go ahead and second that.
We got this motion and a
I've
second.
enjoyed doing it. I would have done it again if no one wanted it, but if Catherine's willing to do it, absolutely.
Okay,
I remember sometime back when Mayor Williams said that he thought change was always good, so that's why I think that, and it's normal procedure, not always, for the newest member to take that responsibility.
I'm happy to support it.
Okay?
Would you like to do the vice chair?
We get there.
Sure.
What?
Hold on, wait, let's
Let's
vote on this one first.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a nomination for the chair. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so at this time, we take nomination for the vice chair.
I'll nominate Commissioner Ambrose.
All right, second, I'll make a second for Commissioner Ambrose to be the vice chair.
Okay.
And then we can help her along the way.
That's why I thought it would be good if you was vice chair.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay, she got to do the vote,
You
right?
got to do the vote.
All right. All those in favor of Commissioner Ambrose being vice chair, respond with aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay.
Aye, yes.
No, I didn't vote. No.
Okay.
4-1. Okay. Moving on to item number 5, discuss and consider the act of appointing a resolution 2021Q.
Mr. Mayor, I'll read this by title only. This is Resolution 2021Q, a resolution setting the monthly salary for the office of City Commissioner and Mayor, providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass Resolution 2021Q as read by title only.
Okay, what's the commissioner's pleasure?
Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to make a motion to go ahead and approve this, but I would like to make a comment, and this goes back to a high school government class, where we had a big debate about paid elected officials. And there was a conversation about, you know, if you don't pay anything, then you only end up being represented by people that tend to be wealthy or afford the time and the energy and the effort. And if you don't pay enough, there are a lot of people that won't consider the contribution. So I would just really encourage city staff to take a look at this, you know, as time goes on, because actually back in 2001, 2002, the salaries were actually higher than they are right now. And they were dropped 4 different times through the recession, and they've been raised back to this point 3 different times. But we're still less than we were almost 20 years ago. So I wouldn't want to discourage somebody who has to work a second job that might be a really good contribution to the community, and wouldn't consider this because there wasn't the token amount. And having said that, and whatever, I will make a motion to go ahead and approve this resolution.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an amount?
I don't. I just know we haven't changed it since it was 2017. It was back in 2001 or 2002, I think, speaking with Ginny, it was $1,000 a month for the commissioners and $1,200 for the mayor. And I have no idea what the surrounding communities are doing, but I think that, you know, it's an uncomfortable thing because we're talking about our salary, and believe me, I'm very unhappy with what happens at higher levels of government with the salary increases they give themselves sometimes. And I just think that, you know, if staff looks at what other communities are doing, and if we go, oh, you're way out of line, or maybe we're in line, or maybe we're all comfortable. But I thought I'd just throw out the idea that there are reasons that there is some compensation, you know, as everything gets more expensive.
Allow staff time to do a survey of other cities and see what they're.
Well, you've got a motion and a second right now, so that would have to be
Yes.
defeated to be able to table that, so.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second on the resolution 2021Q.
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrose,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Mayor Williams.
Yes. So, is that something we can bring up during next budget year? I just don't feel comfortable. Yes.
You can always pass another resolution.
Okay. Yes, I'm comfortable right now. Okay. All righty. Moving on to item number 6. Discuss and consider the act of authorizing the following personnel to sign checks, investments documents in compliance with Section 2-97 High Springs Code of Ordinance, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, and City Clerk. Do we have a motion?
I move that we authorize those officers who need to sign checks, that we move to have them do so.
I second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, sign. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Item number 7, discuss and act on a resolution 2021R.
Okay, so this was the presentation I was going to give tonight. It's just 2 slides, so I can go over with y'all what's in the resolution. Staff is basically proposing changes to the development fees, and I just want to go over what those changes are and why we are making those recommendations. So the annexation fee, just let me back up a little bit. We did study other cities, Alachua County, Newberry, and Alachua. So we're recommending the annexation fees be decreased from, we charge around $500 and for small annexations, and $2,000 plus $50 per acre for large annexations. Several cities do not charge for annexations, and the ones that do, it's very, very minimal. Staff is, if we want to grow and expand the city, staff thinks that it's better to follow the suit of the cities that do not charge for annexation, so we can continue to grow. The lot split fee, currently it's $500, and staff is recommending that be decreased to $200. A lot of times all that is a line change, and it just doesn't seem fair to be charging $500 when you're just signing off on the change of a line on a plat, and it's done administratively. And it makes it cumbersome for some people who, have tight finances, especially with how much prices have increased lately. The LDC text amendment fee, we are recommending that be increased from $1,500 to $5,000. And the reason why is because that can be very time intensive depending on what it is. And typically, LDC text amendments are initiated by the city, but in the case it is a change is being made by by recommendation of someone else who needs it, that would bump it up in priority maybe of things the city is already doing. So we want to make sure that that is important enough, and charging an increased fee means that it would be important enough. And that doesn't mean that you have to approve it, but just the staff time to work on it still would be significant. Staff is recommending that currently plan unit development fees be increased from $3,500 to $6,000, because plan unit developments are typically more time intensive than straight zoning changes and can take a lot of work, and to make sure someone's serious about it before they come forward wanting one. And typically, someone who's going to do a planned unit development, it's normally on a larger piece of land. So this shouldn't impact the project any. It's just trying to cover staff's time a little better. Plan unit development modification fee, that's a fee for a planned development that we already have, but you just will make like a few changes to that does not involve much time. That would be a new fee, that's $3,000, so someone doesn't have to pay the same fee as writing a whole new plan development. Currently, the site plan review fee is $2,500. Staff does get some minor site plans in that might just involve an accessory building or just something like the sites. There's already a building on site, and it's already been planned and infrastructure in place. It's just something minor they're adding. So staff doesn't think it makes sense to be charging them the same amount as a new site plan on a completely raw vacant piece of land. So we're recommending that that be initiated for $500, because obviously that's a lot less time. A site plan with infrastructure, so currently we do not, if you have infrastructure or not, it's just $2,500. So the site plans that do require infrastructure as well, we're recommending an increase to $4,000, because we would have to, staff, even though we pass the construction plans along to our engineer, staff still looks over them and they provide their input and they do another level of review too. Construction plans are normally looked at by several people and across several departments, the whole development review committee. We're recommending the change. Currently, there's a word for conditional use permit administrative. That's actually the special use permit. So we're recommending that it be changed to what it actually is, because there's confusion, because the conditional use permit is what comes up to the commission to consider. And special use is what the administrator does. So to, get rid of that confusion. And then there's a conditional use permit small on the development fee schedule, and we're suggesting that be changed to special exception, because that's what it is, and that's how it's worded in the other language in the other ordinances. And then we are also recommending some changes, and this was taken after two cities and the county. That currently our preliminary plat is $3,750, final plat is $1,500 plus recording fees, and construction plans are $3,250. It just didn't seem fair that someone who comes in with a plat with maybe 15 homes spends the same amount of money as someone with a plat with maybe 300 homes, and that should, a larger plat should cost more money. So we're recommending $1,500 plus $10 per lot for a preliminary plat, $1,500 plus $5 per lot for a final plat, and the construction plan's $3,000 plus $1 per lot. So that would take care of, distinguish the people who have bigger developments that involve more time, pay more, and the people who have smaller developments pay less. So that's staff recommendations.
And with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. This is Resolution 2021R, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of High Springs, Florida, establishing and amending the Land Development Code administrative fees pending providing conflicts and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass Resolution 2021R as read by title only.
So moved. So moved.
Seconded.
Second. All right, any discussion?
No, I'm really glad we're taking this step for local residents. We've made some of the changes a lot more cost-effective, and for people coming in and really looking for staff time to do something new in the community, we're recovering the fees for current residents, and I think that's a good thing.
Anyone else? Anyone from the audience? Seeing that?
Commissioner Amber?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bennett?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, we've moved item number 8, so we'll move on to item number 9. Discuss and act on ordinance 2021-12.
Mr. Mayor, this is an ordinance amending the adopted 2020-2021 fiscal year budget of the City of High Springs, providing an effective date and providing for conflict. The appropriate motion is to pass ordinance number 2021-12 as read by title only.
So what is before you are the expenditure side of the budget, that were the actuals that came in. So staff amended it to the actuals that came in. So we're not, so we keep money how it was spent. So in future years, we know how to project forward. And the revenue side, the revenues that have come in, so staff will fix those sheets and send those out to you as well. But, as you can see, if you go through this, there's little yellow highlights through all of this with explanations on what was anything that was over. And if you need more detailed reports on any items that were over, then our finance director, Ms. Strong, sorry, she has provided very in-depth analysis of the different line items and what is in every single one of them. So I can forward anything you're concerned about. I can forward emails. And in the sake of paper, I didn't include all of it, but I can forward the email she sent to me to you, because we did. We went back into everything to see, if there's anything we can do different next year. So, or, this fiscal year, even if we need to amend the budget on spending for the things that went over. So we looked at it very closely. I just want to go over the items that were over and what they were for briefly, so you understand what they were for. And sometimes it helps to talk about it a little rather than y'all just kind of looking at it. So the big ones were police and fire overtime. One of the big things with why that was over is because that line item also includes pay for off-duty and pay from private vendors. So if we're asked to provide officers for private events, then obviously that's going to increase the overtime. But there is a revenue side to that as well, because they pay us for that. Some of the operating supplies under police that were over budget, those were grants that were received, so there's a revenue side. There will be a revenue side on the other side of that as well. So the majority of anything over was pertaining to the grant items. And so in finance, for salaries, for the finance director position, for the salaries it was a little higher, and that was because of the payout to the finance director when she left, because she had her paid time off payout, which is, in our personnel policy that people receive when they leave the city. For IT, a lot, that was, we had the new city website. We had additional Microsoft licenses and Visio licenses. I don't know if that's how I say them or not, Chief Shepherd. Okay, Visio licenses for the police department. In planning, one of the major items that went over were planning and engineering fees. Those were associated with review of new developments coming in and wanting to come in. And those, we have been charging the retainer fee. And when they exhaust it, we've been asking for more money, because our ordinance allows us to do complete pass-through. And when they don't spend it all, we refund what they haven't spent. So that, so it looks high, but it is pass-through amount that will be shown on the revenue side. Parks had some overage. A big part of that was the survey and attorney's fees for Canoe Outpost, as well as several line items were under budgeted, because for some reason, there was a thought process that people wouldn't be outside as much using the park system, where in fact, because of COVID, they were using it more. So we had to, spend money to keep the activities going. So if it had been budgeted similar to previous years, then they might not have gone over. The farmer's market had some increases, and that was because of the increase in activity, but that's passed through on the revenue side as well. The streets had some overages. The major part of that was removal of dead trees, and there were a lot of them during Hurricane Elsa that had to be removed. The salaries for water, there's a little bit overage there, and that was for the PTO for the payout when the Public Works Director retired. And it was also for twofold, because they have stepped in with their licenses and provided assistance. for us while we're looking for a new public works director. And also for generator repairs, the generators went down, and so we had to, they were costly to repair. And then the CRA, there was overage in there, and that was for the strategic plan that was approved by the CRA board. The other main overages that was across the board in all departments, was increase, insurance was substantially higher than projected, the utilities were higher than projected, fuel was higher than projected. I think those are probably things hitting most cities right now, in our aging fleet and aging equipment, that the cost of repairs is increasing since we have aging fleet and equipment.
Yeah. Okay. Scott was there. He asked us, so do we have a balanced budget?
Well, we will have, when, I'll do the revenue side, and it will be balanced when I bring it next time. I haven't finished the revenue side yet, but it will be balanced when I bring that.
Okay, so then we'll have to go in the hole now.
All right. I like these little explanations on here, though. I think that's great. It's easy to follow.
Ms. Strong stayed pretty late one night this week working on it with
Is
me. Yeah,
Okay.
so I really appreciated her doing that.
Yes, I do too.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Okay.
So many, but I don't even know where to start. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this for
Yeah,
the first time, so.
There's going to be a
pardon me.
second reading.
Okay.
And so it's going to be on the 29th, I think, is the second reading. So I'm available to meet with you and go over everything with you, if you like. And also, email me or text me any questions, and I'll respond. It's actually pretty easy because Ms. Strong's already done all the work, so I can
So
actually
when-
just send you the line items.
When this is caught up with the revenue side, what you're saying is that we're not going to be in the hole.
I haven't done the comparison yet.
Okay.
I think several of the revenues have come in over. It might be close, but I have to finish the revenue side still. That shouldn't take long. This was the hard part, so.
But adopting this reconciled budget for the last fiscal year is the final requirement to close out the fiscal year, correct?
Right,
Okay.
right. And these expenditures are how they came in. We haven't messed with the money at all on the expenditures or anything. The revenues have come in how they've come in. So, so at the end, if there's any money that's, say for some reason expenditures exceed revenues, we'd have to take some from fund balance, or vice versa. We'd have to put some in fund balance, is how it would work. So it would be balanced at the end. And there may need to be some transfers among departments as well. That would change, so everything balances with the special revenue funds. So I can show you how all that works.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
I move we pass this resolution, which was number 2012, amending the adopted fiscal year budget 2021 on first reading.
A second.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Any comments? All right, seeing that.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor James?
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrose?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, moving on to item number 10. Okay, discuss and consider and provide direction to staff to use of the American Rescue Plan funds.
Good evening, Commission. So last meeting, we discussed the amount of funds we were receiving from ARPA, which is just a little over $3 million for the American Recovery Money. Some of y'all sent in some ideas and suggestions. Commissioner Jones, thank you for your comments. And we have also got with staff on some of their recommendations and some of their thoughts. So tonight, we just kind of wanted to run through it, discuss some of the ideas staff had, some of the ideas the commission had on this, get some direction from the commission at this point to what we need to pursue and what we don't need to pursue, what you would like to see us try to pursue. So just to run through a couple of the things that we've discussed, we've talked just, for instance, some of the funding can be used for engineering of the new water plant. We know we have the property from Swanee River Water Management. We know that's a project that's going to be coming down the line within probably the next 5 years or so. We'll be exploring grant funding, inclusion with FRS funding for that project. That project will get more points if it's engineered. We have some lump sum. This would be a one-time cost. That this would be an appropriate project for ARPA funding. It also falls under the infrastructure side. Phase 3 of the sewer plant. I know we're not even in the phase 2 at this point, but with some of the growth and things we're looking at, there's going to have to be a phase 3 to that sewer plant. With some of the subdivisions, one of which being Bridlewood, there won't be enough capacity even in phase 2 to handle all the homes in there. So we need to start looking at a phase 3 at this point, and it's something we need to start planning for anyhow. Some various different things, elevator replacement at City Hall. I'm not going to read through all this. We can get into the nuts and bolts of this however you want. Software upgrades, technology upgrades. We've talked about doing some audio-visual updates for the commission chambers. Some various different things for PD body cameras that would fall underneath there. Some different investigation tools, some additional technology and softwares for them. Infrastructure needs for this building would be elevator. You could do, roof would fall underneath that. It's part of the infrastructure of this building. Same thing with fire, it needs a roof. Bay door openers, that's been an unfunded budgeting item that they've asked for over there for the last few years. Cardiac monitors, we put in for a grant a couple years ago for some cardiac monitors. It's about $180,000. We were denied the grant, so that's something that could be funded through this. There's also a provision in the ARPA funds that allow for what they call a premium pay. We could fund our first responders and give them a bonus for those who worked during COVID or still continuing to work during that the COVID pandemic, if you will, and they can get a bonus out of this if we chose to go that way, which is not just limited to first responders, but you could also do some of your public works staff and those employees as well. So that's just a brief overview of this. I believe the city manager sent out an email earlier in the week or towards the end of last week. Did you send out the ARPA packet?
I did.
Oh.
Okay.
I will send out just some do's and don'ts from GOFA. There's not this all-inclusive list of things we can and can't do. They're pretty specific on some things you can't do, like you can't give pensions, retirements, roads, things like that. But we can do premium pay. We can do infrastructure upgrades with water, sewer, broadband, infrastructure needs, building upgrades, things like that. So that's where we're at. We've got $3,094,427, I believe, that we can spend over the next 4 years, or 3 years. Any questions?
I have a question. I'm sorry.
No.
We're also talking about borrowing money for the third water well, or for the upcoming water well.
Yes, ma'am.
Could we use this money for that instead of borrowing and paying interest on a loan instead?
You could. It could be done. We've already secured financing for that. There was a method to financing the third well. One, it was something that was already in the works. We weren't sure when this money was coming in at the time. It just happens we have part of it now. We've only gotten the 1.5 installation payment at this point in time. So that could be something we could look at doing. So that would be if that's the direction the commission wants to go, we could go that way with it.
Big need, and it has been for a long time. But I'm always in favor of not paying interest if we don't have to.
Yes, ma'am. But we've also got other needs, so, I mean, which way do we want to go? I don't really have an opinion either way. It's really what the commission wants to do. Like I said, we've already secured funding, so if that's a direction that the commission would like to go, we need to know so we can let the bond council know that we intend to pull this.
Almost put that on this session. Well, we did put it, and that was one of the items pulled. The other thought process behind it is right now our water impact fees are $200 and some odd dollars. In most cities, it's like $3,000 or, high 2000s, low 3000s. And so the thought process was, with the growth coming, it'll easily, we have the money now, but it'll also easily make those payments. So
But did I read it correctly? There's a penalty if we pay it back early?
I think it was like 1 or 2%. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
I think we should have a workshop to discuss this. We could have input from the residents as well. I know the strategic planning, I harp on that, but that opened my eyes a lot. I think it would be a lot easier to discuss during a workshop. We can communicate. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of suggestions at this point, so maybe we could get to that point.
Yes, ma'am. That was kind of the thought process tonight, was to get it out there. Let's see what the flavor was if we wanted to do a workshop. If we want to, we have to do some reporting by December. We've got some stuff already rolling in that area, some general ideas. But, we'd like some feedback from the commission at this point, just to kind of go, okay, here's some priority so we can start going. Like, is the premium pay for employees, is that something you would like to consider? And then we could put a package together and come back to the commission and say, hey, this is what we're thinking. Or is there elevator, is that a need to the commission for an ADA deal that we can go and start calling? So we have some general ideas of what this is gonna cost, just when we have this workshop, so we can have some general idea, just so we're not wasting a bunch of staff time with everything else we have going on. Just some things that you felt might be important to you, that of some of the stuff we mentioned, just out of some of the emails, so we can get some balls rolling in some different directions to have some more in-depth discussion in a workshop, instead of just kind of throwing stuff to the wall to see what sticks. I'm gonna sit down and let you all.
And we'll try to get a workshop like at the beginning of December as well. And like Bruce said, I think this was just kind of like just thoughts that if you were thinking of anything for the ARPA funds, so that we're kind of gearing things in the right direction as we do additional research on projects to bring to the workshop.
Okay.
Mayor,
So,
I'm sorry. One thing I did put at the top of my list that I sit in is the opioid task force for Newberry. They gave a wonderful presentation, and I would like to keep that at the top of the list. It's $10,000. I have, okay.
I have it on there, I forgot to mention.
I've been attending the webinars they've had monthly and have learned so much about the current problems that we're having. And I think I would like to pursue that.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm in agreement with the workshop. So now, you're saying you got to make some type of report in the month of December?
Yes, we just gotta give them a general idea of what.
What we're gonna do?
Just a general idea that we have some ideas of what we're doing.
So we need to have a workshop before we do whatever?
By the end of December is when they need, yeah, so we'll have it at the
And
beginning.
what they're looking for is, and it's not this all-inclusive list, it's just, what do we think? We're thinking about doing some infrastructure stuff, we're looking at some stuff for employees. We have the general idea behind that, but we just need to sit down and make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay. So you think about the workshop in the month of?
Yeah, I mean, if y'all want to pick a date now, you
Yeah,
can.
that's what I'm thinking, 'cause it's gonna be tight, squeezing.
Yeah, because it's hard with the holidays.
Yes. Find my calendar. I got a new phone, I don't know how to work it yet.
Uh-oh.
So when our next meeting, regular meeting?
It's the 9th. You can either have it maybe the 2nd, or you can even say at 5.
Come in early.
Do it early.
Yes, that's what I was
Come
thinking.
early
Would
on the
everybody
night.
be comfortable coming in early? So how long you think it'll take for this workshop?
Maybe an hour,
About an hour?
depending on how much y'all talk. I mean, really, it's just how much.
An hour should do it.
Would they say the 29th?
Huh?
What date? I'm sorry.
The ninth.
The ninth.
The ninth,
Oh,
before
the
the
ninth.
regular commissioner meeting.
Okay.
Is everybody comfortable with 5 o'clock, Ross?
I
You good?
I can do that.
December the 9th at 5.
That's good, Jenny? Okay.
So, yeah, and Mayor, just, what I'd just like to say on this is, I think we need to move very strategically, and I attended a workshop at Florida League of Cities when I went, and they really emphasized a couple of things. And one, like you said, there's not a hard list of you can spend it on this, and there was a recognition that across the United States, so many communities are different and have different needs. So there's some general criteria, and if we can justify an expenditure for this community in the review process, it can be approved if we've done it right. And it might not be with another community, a need, because the needs are different. And also, like the first reporting hurdle, they said, don't miss it, but it's really about, you're in motion and you're not just sitting on the money. You're looking at, you're gonna do something with it over the time, and it's actually a couple of years that we could spend it.
Yeah, we have until
Yeah,
2024, and I think the last, 2024 to finish our reporting, and then 2026 is last
Yeah.
to spend, I believe is the date.
And as a commissioner, there's some things we need to do that we've not done, and maybe that's the elevator. I'm not sure, but I'd like to make sure that we use this money very strategically, so that we're not simply taking care of things we should have been finding a way to pay for as part of the operation of city operations. And towards that end too, I don't like the idea of paying interest on loans. But right now, money is really inexpensive for government to borrow. And if we had jumped as a city earlier on the well, when we didn't want to borrow the money, how much has the cost gone up since the initial estimate?
The initial estimates are under 300,000. We're
Yeah.
at 667.
And now we're at
just for-
660, so
Just
that would have been a
for-
lot of interest that we could have done good for the citizens if we jumped sooner. And I don't want to Monday morning quarterback anything, because that's not fair. But we just have to look at that in terms of, we've got so many needs. How can we best use our cash flow to accomplish those needs? I look forward to the workshop, and I agree with you on the opioid issue. We need to invest in that, because it's harming our community more than most people realize.
So on the resolution for the water well, should we bring that back after the workshop, or do you want to staff putting down the agenda for next meeting still? So the 29th?
My idea on it is, I say we go with the bonding, because the other reason, it's my understanding, having talked with Bruce, we haven't borrowed money as the city since we did a sewer plant. We don't have a bond rating anymore.
Right, we don't.
So by going forward and with a bond, we would be strengthening the city's resources by getting in a situation where we would get a bond rating again.
I don't think we would get a bond rating yet, because it's called a bond, but it's not, yeah.
Okay.
But it strengthens, you're right, it strengthens our financial situation, because we borrowed money. It's just like somebody that doesn't have credit, their score might be lower because they haven't borrowed anything. So if we ever, do need to go out for a bond for, say, we have an elections and roads passed for some reason, we would likely probably get a better bond rating, because we've borrowed for higher things and shown we can keep up with it.
Okay.
So we can't use this money for roads. There's no workaround there.
Well,
So if,
Let me back up and punt on that. You can't use it for roads. Now, if we replace infrastructure that's under roads, and roads are part of that project, then we can fix roads.
after the
Does
fact,
not
is
count.
that doesn't count? So then if we were going to cash flow the water well with money that we have, would it make more sense to bond money for roads? Could we do that instead?
The bang for the buck's not there.
Well, the other thing is you can't, because it's from different revenue.
Right.
It's the Water Enterprise Fund is paying the
But the
well.
bang for the buck too, with the cost of a mile of new road is about $1 million a mile. Last we price checked it. It's been a little while, so I need to go back. It's only 1 mile of road. We do have a lot of grants out there for roads right now. So I would, and that's gonna need some match, so maybe we look at earmarking this money for infrastructure, matching grants, we can do that too. You can use this, you can use the ARPA money for grant matches as well. So we can, well, these two grants in particular I'm talking about that are out there are some gravity sewer, water line replacements, and it also handles road and stormwater because of the detail of the grant. So it's, one of them's 14 or 16 million and the others I believe is 17 million in grants. So total's like about $34 million in grants, and that's to do a bunch of water lines, some lift stations, some sewer, stormwater management, sidewalks, and some roadway. But you could use that money for that part of that.
Even if we say you finance the well, I just want to make it clear, like if you are not doing water or sewer projects underneath the ground, if you're doing just straight road repair, reconstruction, that would be general fund. And if we had the money right now, I would have definitely put it in there because, I mean, believe me, like I've said this before, I ride on those roads too. So.
So basically, at the workshop, we're just going to discuss what possibility, because you can't vote at a workshop.
No, you can't vote.
So you can't vote. So we're just going to discuss, and then you can come up with your list at that time.
And we'll,
Composite list.
and in January, we'll probably go to a vote on some of the projects, if that's the direction, and start moving. But at least on the 9th, we'll have some direction for the very generic reporting that they're gonna want. I mean, we have the majority of, just from talking to y'all individually, of the feel for what most of you want. I haven't spoke with the new commissioner yet, but I'm sure we'll have plenty of conversation between now and then. And just kind of finish it up and button it up in the public hearing, just with everybody around for the workshop, and make it a little more official and get rolling. But just think about it, because we got grants, we got all this money we got different grants going on right now. We've got a sewer plant that we just got awarded through Swanee River. So we got that money coming in. Do we want to take a small amount of this to fund any overages in that? I mean, construction costs have gone up, we know, so we got to look at that. Do we want to earmark, $100,000 aside just for, hey, if that thing goes over, that's where we're going to pull our overage or change orders that we need to make? While we're building this new plant, we haven't looked at it yet. Do we want to rehab the old plant while we're doing it? Get the new plant built, move everything over to it, then pull the old plant down, replace the inners, weld it up, put it back together, and rehab it and get another 15, 20 years out of it. We're gonna have to work on it anyhow and rehab it. I mean, I'm just spitballing ideas out there for reference. These are things 5, 6 years from now that we're gonna have discussions on anyhow that we're gonna do, and we have this money sitting here. Is it something that would be responsible for us to do?
Thanks too. That's kind of important to fix, like really important to fix.
Okay, all right, thank you. And make sure you send us that them do's and the don'ts with the,
Yes, sir. I'll send out something Monday when I get back.
okay. Anything else on this? All right, we'll move on to item number 11. Discuss and consider an act of ordinance on 2021-09.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and read the next 3 items are annexation ordinances, and Jerry Diedenbach is in the audience. He is the applicant for these annexations on behalf of the owners of the property. And so he's a longtime planner and well-known to the city. I'll go ahead and read this by title only. This is ordinance number 2021-09, an ordinance of the city of High Springs, Florida, pursuant to the petition number ANX 21-01 relating to voluntary annexation, making findings annexing to and including within the boundaries of the city of High Springs, Florida, certain real property located in Alachua County, Florida, which is reasonably compact and contiguous to the boundaries of the city of High Springs, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. Mr. Mayor, the appropriate motion will be to pass ordinance number 2021-09 as read by title only. I'll tell you, I read an article by Judge Scott Maker of the First DCA that said, posited the theory that annexation ordinances are quasi-judicial. So since he grades our papers, I would request that Mr. Diedenbach be sworn in, and any witness that wants to testify this evening also be sworn in.
Okay. I want you to get an A, so we're going.
That's right.
Angela, do you want me to do that? Would you like me to swear him in? Okay. Mr. Diedenbach, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, he has been duly sworn.
All right, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, and good evening. Yes, again, my name is Jerry Diedenbach. I'm Vice President of CHW Professional Consultants, and we are here on behalf of the landowners and Duke Energy this evening. I have a very brief presentation. The work has been reviewed by the Regional Planning Council, and this works. Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the process. We've had the honor and the, sheer joy of actually being able to work directly with your staff, meeting with your city manager, assistant city manager, and planning staff to talk about this over the last several months. This discussion actually began early this year, and through a course of meetings with your staff and holding a community workshop, our client has decided, and the families have decided, to pursue the annexation of the property that is currently in Alachua County into the city of High Springs. We are here tonight at first reading, and hopefully by the end of the year, we will have about 700 more acres in the city, which represents about 5% of the city size. The city is about 22 square miles, and this is just over 1 square mile. As a point of reference on this map, you can see the mouse here is about 3/4 of the way to the left side. You can see the county line limit here between Gilchrist County and Alachua County. The bright orange line that I'm following now from the north to the south represents the city limits of High Springs versus Alachua County. The subject site here sits adjacent to the city limits of High Springs. It's about 4,000 feet of common property boundary line here, and consistent with Florida statutes, Chapter 171, this property is contiguous to the city of High Springs. It is compact in nature. It is a relative rectangle in size. It does not create a finger-like projection that wanders through the wilderness to get to some other piece of land, and it does not create an enclave. Therefore, by the virtue of Florida statutes, Chapter 171, this is a valid annexation. The Regional Planning Council's professional staff have reviewed this, and there is the property in large scale. As you can see, that's about 3,855 feet of contiguous boundary here. It is relatively compact as a rectangle, and we would like to bring this into High Springs. It currently has an agricultural land use in Alachua County and an agricultural zoning, and we would be seeking the similar land use and zoning in the city of High Springs. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. My client is also here tonight in the back if you had any specific questions, but this is just the annexation phase. We will be pursuing land use and zoning after the property officially is brought into the municipal limits of High Springs. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Can you bring up your last slide, please, with the big yellow and the big green? What
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that the big yellow is? I'm just trying to get a frame of reference for where we are.
Sure. Let me show you, let me back up to this one, because this aerial, I think, is probably the best view. So right now, we are downtown High Springs here. This is 441 going through the town, and then this is 27 State Road 45 going down to the city of Newberry. This is currently a large dairy here west of the city of High Springs. So as the crow flies, this is about a mile and change west of downtown near the Gilchrist County line.
Proposed property, what is that?
Directly to the east of that property, there's also open farmland there. And south here, there is a subdivision of large lot homes that sit at the end here. There's a dead end and there's a little turnaround here, and then there's a little arm tat here. But most of this land is active agriculture or planted pine in this area.
Can you tell me the name of that subdivision that's there? Because I don't know where
Off
we
the
are
top of
still.
my head, I can't tell you the name of that subdivision.
See, I can't tell if that's the one down by the sewer plant or Cinnamon Hills.
No, Cinnamon Hills would be back here. This is Cinnamon Hills here. This is, it's a really long,
Which one is that down by
yeah.
the sewer plant?
It's a really long run that comes, you turn off of 2745 High Springs Estates.
I think it's High Springs Estate.
Yeah. And they're relatively large lots. A lot of them, as you can see where I'm orbiting the mouse, are very treed and the houses will sit in a cleared area. There are only a few that are actually really cleared.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Jerry, I agree with your assessment as to Chapter 171. As you've noted, contiguous, compact, not finger-like, so it meets the requisites of Florida law. Have you had any interactions with county staff by any chance?
County staff have asked a couple of questions about this. During a couple of meetings at the Board of County Commissioners, they are aware of the annexation that is taking place out here and the express purpose for the annexation. Their main question was, is it inside of our growth management boundary, which they adopted by a voter referendum? It is outside of that area, so it is completely within the extraterritorial area of High Springs, and so therefore it reinforces the validity of the annexation. I've had a lot of off-the-record conversations with county staff too and county commissioners about the nature of this, so yes.
Thank you.
So, pardon my asking a question again. Are the folks that live in High Springs Estates, I'm assuming that's the people right to the east, are they aware of the proposed use for this land?
We held a community workshop earlier this year, and it was very well attended, as a matter of fact. We spent a few hours at the community center over here. A lot of people came in. There were actually people from all over High Springs that attended to ask, what was going to go on here. I can't tell you off the top of my head if everybody from that subdivision or that tract attended, but I would presume that those who were interested, we notified out a very far distance around the entire perimeter of that and publicized in advance of that.
Any other commissioners?
I'm good.
Okay, so at this time, we entertain a motion.
We're doing these one at a time, Scott?
Yes.
Okay. I'll move, we approve the ordinance 2109 as read for the annexation.
And I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the audience? Any questions? Hearing none?
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
No.
Okay, motion carries 3-2.
Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2021-10, and I'll read this by title only. It's the same project that was just voted on, so we won't need to swear Jerry in if he decides to give any further testimony this evening. An ordinance of the City of High Springs, Florida, pursuant to a petition number ANX 21-02 relating to the voluntary annexation, making findings, annexing to and including within the boundaries of the City of High Springs, Florida, certain real property located in Alachua County, Florida, which is reasonably compact and contiguous to the boundaries of the City of High Springs, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. Appropriate motion will be to pass ordinance number 2021-10 by reading by title only.
All right, thank you, sir. And this discussion, it's pretty much the same deal.
Okay, since this is a continuation from the same property, I will make a motion that we approve ordinance 2021-10.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. In the discussion, anyone from the audience? Oh, seeing that? Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay, motion carries 3-2. Moving right on to item number 13.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is ordinance number 2021-11, an ordinance of the City of High Springs, Florida, pursuant to a petition number ANX 21-03 relating to the voluntary annexation, making findings, annexing to, and including within the boundaries of the city of High Springs, Florida, certain real property located in Alachua County, Florida, which is reasonably compact and contiguous to the boundaries of the city of High Springs, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion will be to pass ordinance number 2021-11 as read by title only.
All right, thank you, sir. Any discussion?
Okay. I'm going to make a motion that ordinance 2021-11 be approved as read.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Anyone from the audience? Hearing none?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No?
Yes. All right, thank you. All right, so moving on to city attorney's report and update.
Mr. Mayor, the reports I'm getting on the text are that the ethics presentation is going well. I feel bad because we scheduled this at the office and put out the invites, and then we had a hot topic on the agenda that we didn't want to move. So I said, well, I'll come to the city of High Springs, but I feel bad that we are not giving you the opportunity to be at the ethics presentation, the 4-hour requirement that you all have to do before the end of the year. And our new commissioner, that is something that we do annually at our office, and we will do a better job next year making sure that everybody from this city can be there. Part of the pleasure that we have is the interaction between all the cities that we represent. So there's a lot of other commissioners that are there, mayors from other cities. And so there's a little bit of, I think, bonding there because a lot of their issues are your issues as well. And it's open dialogue and a presentation about ethics and sunshine law and ways that commissioners can get themselves into trouble. And it's a requirement of the law that you all attend that. It's open to fire chiefs, assistant city managers as well. And so there's some good information there. Clerks and deputy clerks, it's all very good information as to things that are out there in sunshine law and keep you from getting in trouble. It'll be available to you on recording, so our office will get you so you can go through it and speed through it this year and get your 4 hours in. So it'll be readily available to you as well.
I hear you have good food.
They do.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Now I feel cheated.
It is. It's I feel bad, but next year we'll make sure it works. Mr. Mayor, that's all I had this
All
evening.
right, thank you. So you'll send a link to each one of us?
Yes, we'll send the link.
Okay. City manager?
So I'm gonna steal Bruce's thunder. So I'm sure y'all saw that we had the funding approved for the wastewater treatment plant. I felt like I was on Price is Right and I won a car. But so this is big news for us. We can continue to grow and consider developments that are right for High Springs. So we're moving forward on the requirements that we need to adhere to secure the money so that we can go out to bid.
Sounds great. That's it?
I mean, right now I'm just been trying to close the books on the budget, and I did canoe outposts and budget and trying to handle department stuff. My brain there's so much in there, I don't know what to pull out.
Well, you normally do the High Springs highlights.
Oh yes, I do, don't I? Yes. Okay, so exactly. Thank you for reminding me.
Well, it's
Okay.
special.
It is, and Kevin does a great job on it. So Angela Stone, she fulfilled the requirements of Master Municipal Clerk, which is huge.
Yes.
And we are all very proud of her for doing that. We did close on the canoe outpost, and it's up and running in Anderson. has been doing a really good job for us, helping us run the operations. They've done an inventory since we own it now of the canoes and the kayaks and the paddle boards and the life jackets and all of that. So, separated them into a couple of piles. These are the ones that we can still use. These are the ones that need repaired. These are the ones to go away. So there are some, there weren't the life jackets. Not all of them are usable. We're going by the U.S. Coast Guard standards, so everything's safe. And we were all geared up for a large trip, and we were going to have all hands on staff, including city staff as well as them, and then it rained that day. But we had gotten all ready for it, we were all pumped. So, and so we are going to close it on Thanksgiving Day, but it will be open Thanksgiving weekend. And everyone helped on that. I mean, we have a Square system out there. It connects to our finance system. We have utilities, internet, phone. We've done all those things that we need to do. So.
And you say your closing is on Thanksgiving Day?
Oh, we've already closed on. Oh yeah, we're closing Thanksgiving Day. The facility, no one can rent canoes on Thanksgiving,
Okay.
but the day
Just wanna
after
make
they
sure I
can.
understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I know we did pay for it.
And the officers, Chief Shepherd might want to talk about this more, but they provided Narcon training to all their personnel. Do you want to explain what that is a little bit, Chief Shepherd?
Commissioner Jones spoke a little about the opioid, and that is related to that. The rural areas of our areas, including Gilchrist and Columbia, are having a pandemic of drug usage. So this right here will help us be able to try to save those who may be under the influence of those type of drugs. That's all free training that we got through grant supplication through Gainesville Police Department.
And then the firefighters hosted a show and tell at High Springs Community School during Fire Prevention Week that went over really well, and 80 students had the opportunity to meet their local firefighters. And then the last article is on our $7 million awarded in the grant, as well as we have several new staff members. Christy Wadford is a new CSR in the utility billing. Robert Rossi, a new school crossing guard. Jacob Alligood, facilities maintenance worker. Yolanda Strong, finance director. Austin Dampier, police officer. Jason Davis, service worker, streets. And Ginger Travers, customer service representative. So we have got a number of new employees in different departments. So we're happy to have them as part of our team.
You have anything, Bruce?
Waterline project, the CBG project's going on over here. They're doing the tie-ins to houses now. They have until December 31st to complete that project, and that includes paving, so I'm waiting on the paving schedule to come back now. That was brought up in citizens' comments, so that hasn't been forgotten, but the paving will be taking place hopefully in the next 6 weeks. Everything's moving forward on the sewer. Everything's ready on the well project. We're just waiting on the bond agreement so we can finish that up. That's all I got.
All right, commissioners? Commissioner, yes, first. You go first.
Can I go last?
I did it for a year, trust me. You're first every night.
I'm just drinking from the fire hose right now, and I promise I'll try not to make you too nuts. I'll ask Bruce questions instead.
Oh, no,
maybe.
it's fine, yeah.
I appreciate being up here. This is a profound honor for me, and I'm learning as fast as I can.
Oh, yeah, and I apologize, I haven't had as much time as I'd like, so we can start our regular meetings and everything.
Thank you.
Okay. I attended the Tourist Development Council recently, and our thoughts as a community about tourism are on track with what's happening in the county. The tourist development taxes are going to come in just shy of what they were pre-pandemic for this past year. So they're expecting a substantial increase in the coming fiscal year, along with new hotel rooms that are coming online. So a lot of good things going on there. You know, earlier we had 2 items removed from the agenda, and that was the choice of the developer. But, you know, we've got a lot of developers who often come into the city and they fill out the paperwork and expect everything to be rubber stamped. And I'm really glad that our city staff have stepped up and really trying to represent, you know, things that people in the community feel are important and consistent with our zoning. So, you know, citizens have constantly told me there's a reason they moved to High Springs. And they don't want it to look like other areas of Florida. So getting the word out to developers that we expect more from them, knowing that growth is going to come, but that we expect more, I think is really important. And so for whatever reasons that project got withdrawn, I'm actually glad to not have to vote against it because I didn't think it was consistent, but thank you, staff.
I would like to welcome Commissioner Whites. I think she's going to be a great.
Absolutely.
Nah, you missed your choice.
I
chance.
did.
You
I
did.
missed my choice. Thank you.
I've known her for probably 25 years, so she's going to be a great addition for us. The overdose cases, the Narcan, how expensive is it? I understand it's expensive. Do we know that?
About $300 for 2 of those doses.
Ah.
My goodness.
When I heard expensive, I didn't know that it was that expensive, but it is vital. It is so vital. There's the fentanyl that's coming in that our doctors don't prescribe for people in pain. This is coming from China and other areas that are killing our people, not just young people. That they're, you know, people take it and they expect to get the same results, which is not good as far as I'm concerned, but at least it doesn't kill them. But we're losing people so quickly. So I'm very glad to see this.
And actually, I think I just misspoke. I bought 4 of those. It was $300. So I think
Okay.
it's 180. It's half of that.
Okay, well, that's still,
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
I misspoke.
and that's all I have.
Thank you. John?
Okay, good. I just have a question. Over on Railroad Avenue, right there behind the Plantation Oaks, I noticed they've cleaning it off. They're doing a very good job. But is it just because the owner is cleaning it off, or have we gotten some kind of request from that area? Do anybody know? No.
It could be us, the mowing crews have stopped.
No, not just the mowers.
No, the mowing crews stopped and they started doing cleanup on trees and right-of-ways and stuff like that, so I don't know exactly where they're at right now.
Oh, okay.
They're running all over town trying to play catch-up right this minute.
Oh, okay. I know I saw them across the road there from Allen Chapel one day, but this is back up the other way.
Yeah, they're only mowing like every other week right now for a couple days just because the grass has stopped.
Yeah, it's
growing.
changing, the
But they're-
weather's
I mean,
changing.
they're really running through town hot and heavy, trying to get some stuff cleaned up, trying to get, normally where the parade route is for the
Right.
Christmas, and trying to get some of the intersections cleaned up that we've been neglecting, so they're hustling.
Okay.
New street guys have been busy.
Okay. I was just curious about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I say welcome aboard. Okay, that's it.
Mayor, I do have one more thing, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if any of you have gone past Memorial Park, but Ryan has, what do you call that, bush hog? Okay. He's done a beautiful job clearing that out. It still takes my breath away every time I go past it. And of course, there's a lot of work yet to be done, but if you get a chance, drive by, because it really is nice. Just the trees, and there's still, like I said, a lot of work to be done, but it just takes your breath away to see what's there to work with. Now I'm done.
All right.
All righty. Welcome aboard. Commissioner Watts, look forward to working with you for the next 3 years. Only thing I have is, you don't call it a neon, so what you call the sign out front now? It's neon? What you call it? LED. Okay. So I'm playing Scott. I'm back in this. But it looks nice, though. I can even see it from the road.
Yeah,
And I'd like for y'all put the messages up there for people can see what's going on throughout the city. So, job well done. And I see y'all digging it out, so we're going to put nice landscaping. Okay, sounds great.
We've actually been working with the garden club, so they're gonna put some landscaping in for us.
Good.
Yeah, they were out there the other day when I came up here, the ladies from the garden club.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So motion.
All right, meeting adjourned.